Hey guys, who loves coffee? Tell you what, I do. And if you know me, you know I like coffee. So today we're going to talk a little bit about coffee. And I'm going to talk about a company called Geva. If you've never heard of them, Geva, Geva, coffee.com. And believe it or not, these guys are, first of all, they're really, really awesome. They're based in Houston. They've been in business since 1974. So they're going on 45 years in the coffee business. So they really, really know their stuff. Owner Chris and his wife Shannon, Chris and Shannon George. They really good people, good friends of mine, and I got hooked on their coffees a while back, and I've tried several different ones, and I really, really love their coffees. Really super quality, super fresh. And so I'm going to kind of go over a few things. Stick around to the end because I'm going to tell you about a few extra things that you might be interested in as far as coffee and how I prepare my famous 40-cent cup of coffee. So stay tuned for that. For all you coffee enthusiasts out there. And if you're not a coffee enthusiast, let me just tell you something. I've got a few friends in the business and they're like, high-level experts. I'm not going to try to pretend like I'm a coffee expert. I always feel inferior talking to them because I really want to talk the lingo and I really want to learn more about coffee, and there's so much in-depth information and the way that the beans are, grown and harvested and washed and roasted and so on and so forth, that I really want to learn more about this from them. But they tell me it's kind of like, whatever your preference is and however you like it, that's the way you should drink it. And, I'm thinking, I'm not a coffee purist because I like sugar and cream and, syrups and stuff like that, so don't worry about that. It's not complicated. It's just basically making it however you like it. If you like a little coffee with your cream and sugar, then so be it. That's the way you like it. Enjoy it. I mean, that's the beauty of coffee, is you can make it any way you want. So stay tuned to the end because I got a really cool little tip for you guys that you guys really might enjoy. So hopefully it'll help you out. So my name's Kerry Stessel, and this is the Foodie Club channel on YouTube. I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. If you haven't done this yet, please subscribe to the channel down below. Hit the notification bell wherever that shows up below the video, and you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And if you would give it a like, hit that like button down there below. It just takes a second. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm for the videos, and I would greatly appreciate that. If you want to share the video, that'd be even more appreciated. So we're going to start with this one here, and you can probably tell by the size of the bag that I definitely love this one. So this is a kilo bag, which is 2.2 pounds. And so when you get a kilo from, this is Mexico, this is their Mexico Roast. Hopefully you guys can see that without the glare. So this is their Mexico Roast. Geva Coffee since 1974, right there. Based in Houston, good stuff. But I really love this coffee, it's really good. So I get my kilos from Mexico. My son thinks it sounds like a drug deal when I'm ordering this stuff. I need a kilo of the Mexico. Anyway, so this one here, I like to buy the whole beans first of all. You can buy it already ground. They do sell it either way. If you buy it ground, I would probably say to go with the smaller bags, or get a couple of the smaller bags. As you use them, you open them up. Keep them fresher. They will, hold for a while, but the beans will actually last a little bit longer. And if you don't have a grinder, you can buy, a hand grinder, pretty inexpensive, from these guys online as well. And I'll talk to you about more of their stuff and what they offer in a little bit. But you can buy a little grinder, electric, hand, whichever one. You can grind it yourself. You can get these little vacuum sort of sealed canisters that you can store it in to help keep it fresh also. These bags do have a little like zip, I guess, on it, like a Ziploc sort of seal. So the bags will actually help keep it, pretty fresh for the most part. But I like to get the beans, I like to grind it, and it comes out, a little bit fresher, I would say. So this one has notes like a wine. You know, you kind of they kind of do a flavor wheel thing, and I'm not real adverse to explaining that in detail. I wish Chris was here to go through this. Maybe we'll do a video. Tell you what, hey, I got an idea. If you guys like this video, comment below if you want a tour of Geva and a little bit more in-depth like information about coffee and how it's roasted and how it comes to be the product that it is. Comment below. I want to see a Geva tour, and I'll make that video happen if I get enough requests for it. So comment below, do that, and I'd love to take the tour with Chris and check out their facility in Houston. So this one has notes of citrus, chocolate, nutty, and creamy body. And I'm going to say this, it's got a nuttiness to it. It's really hard to describe coffee flavors, so I'm not going to be like sophisticated about this. I like the flavor. As far as the chocolate, it's not really like a chocolatey, like a cocoa sort of. It kind of just has a hint of a little chocolateness to it, I guess I would say. But a little nutty, creamy body. It's really nice. It's really good. It's a real good all-around coffee. I really, really love it. So that's Mexico. I'd probably say that's my favorite right now. But just like beers and cocktails, I mean, you can change up, and next week, next month, I might be hooked on another one, and you can change it up, have a little variety. They've got a lot of different coffees to choose from, and they're pretty extensive too. So this next one here is Honduras. And this one is got hints of papaya, cantaloupe, and a juicy body. And that's Honduras right there, which is really good. And something that's kind of really cool that they were telling me about, and they source a lot of the beans from different places around the world, obviously different countries. And they're actually dealing with a company in Honduras right now. It's a third-generation family that's been growing coffee beans up in the mountains of Santa Barbara, Honduras. I'm not sure exactly where that is in Honduras, but I guess if you Google it, you can see up in the mountains of Santa Barbara, Honduras. And third-generation family at the Monte Vista estate, and they're actually doing direct trade with that family of growers. So it's really cool. So they're getting it direct from the source, from the grower, third generation, bringing it in, roasting it, bagging it up, and it's a delicious coffee. It's really good quality. There again, you got the expertise of third generation family growing coffee beans. I have to assume they really know what they're doing if it's just the third generation that's doing that, which is pretty cool to know that they're dealing directly with a family that's been growing coffee for so many years. This one here is Ecuador. So if you can see that. So that one is Ecuador. Ecuador has notes of plum, citrus, floral, and it's complex. So this one I like as well. I like all of them, so I'm going to keep saying I like them. I haven't had one that was off, and I've bought a lot of coffees over the years, honest to goodness, and I'm not saying this, I'm not being paid for this promotion or anything like that. I'm a believer in the company, the family, their values, and the quality that they're putting out in their products, and I'm a believer. But I've tried a lot of different brands of coffees and craft coffees and small roasters, small batch stuff like that over the years, and commercial coffees. And there's some good commercial coffees out there too. There really are. I mean, but it's kind of hit or miss, and I've always been, oh, that one's good, and I'll write it down, remember it, so I make sure that I order it next time, or I remember that I liked that one or didn't like that one. But it's been kind of hit or miss. So, but every one that I've tried, I've really enjoyed the coffees. Not so much with some of the commercial ones that I bought that were like, not for me. Maybe somebody else, but not for me. But this is Ecuador. Has a little bit more depth of flavor, I guess, if you will. It's hard to describe coffees, but if you like notes of citrus and plum and you want something a little bit more in depth, definitely go with something like that. This one right here is a classic espresso roast. and that's their classic. Now, there's a lot of restaurants. They do, Geva does a full service coffee service, if that makes sense. But they're the full service, so they do sell to a lot of restaurants. You've probably had their coffee before if you've been to any of the restaurants that they sell their coffees to. There's a lot of them around town. You might have seen the Geva logo on the bags in the restaurants if they advertise it or not. Some do, some let it be known. Some keep it kind of just not a secret, but they don't advertise, I guess, that they use Geva Coffee. But there's several places around that do. For example, one place that I'm a big fan of also is the Toasted Yolk. They're locally owned, franchising out, growing, amazing food, really good breakfast, lunch, brunch type place in the Woodland Spring, Houston area, and expanding beyond. But they proudly serve Geva Coffee. So if you go there, if you've had the coffee, that's Geva. If you like it, then you're with me. But this is their classic Espresso Roast. It's got notes of dark chocolate. It's buttery, it's sweet, and it's full bodied. So it's not a bitter, strong, overpowering type of espresso. It has a really nice balance to it. This is the type of espresso that I can only tell you that I like. There's a lot of good espressos out there, and there's other ones that I've tried and I've liked and not so much. Just like everybody else's preferences are going to be a little bit different. All I can say is try it. If you like espresso, I think you would really enjoy this one. It's got a really nice body, good flavor profile, good depth, but it's smooth. It's not like bitter, burnt, anything like that you might get out of some of the commercial espressos that you might have tried. Definitely not as pleasing on the palate unless you just like straight black, hardcore coffee. But I think you'll really enjoy this one if you give it a try. This one here is Coastal Espresso. So that's their Coastal Espresso. This one I haven't tried yet, so I'm actually going to open the bag and smell it, and for what it's worth, tell you what I think as far as the way it smells. I'm anxious to try this one out. It says it has notes of raspberry, roasted peanuts, and a juicy body. Who doesn't love a juicy body? So I think I'm going to like this one. It's funny. It's a juicy body. It's making me drool. But I do like roasted peanuts and raspberries. Like I said, these notes are like hints of sort of a flavor profile that you might, if you concentrated on these flavor profiles and you were tasting it at the same time, you might say, oh yeah, I kind of pick up a little of that essence, that flavor of those things. They're not like straightforward, like, ooh, this is raspberry and peanuts, flavored. It's not like that. They're like little hints, just like wine. Same thing with wine. Now they do make flavored coffees as well, Geva. So you can get those different, types of flavored coffees that are actually flavor infused for purposes of you tasting those flavors. A little bit different, but with the hints of this, I'm really anxious to try this one out. So I'm just going to open it up. Maybe I won't open it up. Having a little technical difficulty. You ever have a technical difficulty when you're making a YouTube video? Well, this is one. The little tab pulled off, and now I can't get it open. So I'm not going to mess with that, but I'll try it later, and I'll maybe add to the comments below the video of what I think it smells like and how it smells. So Geva Coffee, Houston-based, been in business for 45 years now. They have blends of coffees. They've got a lot more than these on their website, gevacoffee.com, G-E-V-A coffee.com. They got a large variety of coffees, large assortment, but they have blends of coffee. They got decaf, they have espressos, they have full flavored, flavored coffees like I mentioned. They got organic, they got single origin type coffees, very specialty type coffees. They also have a large line of teas if you're into teas as well. They do have some quality teas. Maybe I'll make a tea video. If you like tea and you want to see a tea video, on some of their teas, I'll see what I can put together and maybe make a YouTube video for you guys as well. Just leave that in the comments below and I'll try to work on that if I have enough requests. But they also go further than that. Like I said, they do offer full service coffee service where they'll go into the businesses, they'll service the coffee machines, they'll train the employees on making it, they'll do maintenance if you need maintenance or repairs, cleaning it, calibrating the machines, the espresso machines, and so on and so forth. So they're there for full support. So if you own a business and you're thinking about getting into the coffee business, these are the guys, these are the pros that you definitely want to talk to. They will, I promise you, they will help you get it set up right for your restaurant or your business or your coffee shop. They will get you supplied with the right products, the right equipment. They even sell cups and sleeves and caps, everything for the whole gamut of offering coffee to your customer or guests. So, but they also sell equipment. They do sell espresso machines. They sell drip brewers. They sell tea brewers. They sell espresso machines. They sell grinders and all the supplies that go with it. So full service. They pretty much sell just about everything. If you go to their website, gevacoffee.com, you'll see it. And that brings me to some other products that I have been tasting and that I was really interested in on their website as well. And that's their syrups. So they have a line of coffee flavored syrups, and it's called 1883, and the products are from France. Now I've been trying to do like the keto thing sort of, so I either way, even when I'm not doing the keto thing because it's kind of challenging for me, I do watch what I eat as far as with sugar and stuff like that. But if you can see that 1883, and this is their sugar-free vanilla, and it's a beautiful product. If you guys can see that, it's a beautiful product imported from France, like I said. This is a 33.8 fluid ounces, so it's a pretty big size bottle versus some of the syrups that you buy in the store that are just in the smaller, I guess like a 5 or 10 ounce bottle, whatever they are. So it's definitely a good sized bottle, so it will last you quite some time. Flavors are wonderful. I mean, they're really good. I like it. I've enjoyed them so far. I've tried them a little bit here, so I didn't want to use up a whole lot before I made the video, so I've been waiting, and I tried them a few times, but they're really, really good. So this is the sugar-free vanilla, and then I also have a sugar-free caramel or caramel, depending on what coast you live on, but I'm going to say caramel because I'm in Texas. So if I'm saying it wrong to you, welcome. Welcome, y'all. Howdy. And then this one here is just a regular vanilla, and that's not sugar-free. So they do have sugar-free, they do have regular. I don't know all the different flavors that are on the website, so you guys can go there, check that out. But they're really good. I enjoy them. I got some of these. I got one of these for my son and some Mexico for him. He's off at college right now, so I sent him a care package of coffee. He's been following his dad's footsteps and started making his own coffee at home, which is a blessing for me because it costs less than him going to Starbucks or somewhere else. Oh, did I say that? I need to edit that out, that word. But no, nothing against those guys. Just kidding. They make good products. They do. Nothing against them. But saving money in college tuition is a good reason to make your own coffee. So don't hate me if you own a coffee shop. I'm not against that. I do enjoy going out and getting a coffee and having a nice latte made and the latte art and everything like that. And I support you guys 100%. And I love going out and getting coffee and hanging out on a Saturday morning or something like that and enjoying a nice cup of coffee. So that's an awesome experience. Don't give that up. I'm saying that because I support locally, and I don't want any coffee shops to hate me for saying this. But if you stayed tuned this long, here's my little tip about my famous, not so famous, I guess it's not famous, about what I call my 40-cent coffee. So I love to make coffee at home, and I make it different ways, and I'm going to go over a couple of ways of how I like to make it. So if you're new to the coffee world, or you're not really sure, you never had a good experience making coffee on your own, I'm going to tell you what I do, and I'm going to tell you how I make it, and hopefully it'll help you guys. And if you do make one of these 40-cent cup of coffees, and that's a rough number, I call it the 40-cent cup of coffee, because it's definitely not $5 cup of coffee with a fancy name. So actually, I have a couple of different methods of brewing coffee. So if you guys are interested, this is a not so clean, but used, well, gently used French press. So this is a French press. You can buy these on, wherever, on Amazon. You can probably buy them from Geva if they have them on their website. I'm not positive. But the French press is basically, and they make metal ones, they make glass ones. This one's glass, and they make, different types, sizes. They make bigger ones, smaller ones, and all that. Different designs on the bands and everything, and the legs and all that. But basically what it is it's a strainer. It has a strainer, and it's on a rod, and that goes up and down. And basically what you do is you put your hot water in here. Unless you're going to do cold brew, then you would put cold water in there. Sorry. It's kind of a given, I guess. But anyway, so you'd measure the water. So I use 2 tablespoons of ground coffee per 1 cup of water when I'm using the French press or when I'm doing cold brew. So 1 cup of water to 2 tablespoons, level packed tablespoons of ground coffee. And basically you'll put that in there. I give it a little stir just to make sure that the coffee kind of gets absorbed into the water a little bit. You put the little strainer plunger on top. What I like to do is I'll press the strainer down just to the top of the water. So you see a little bit of the water come through the strainer, then I know that the coffee is actually submerged into the water. So it doesn't have like an air gap in between there. That's just something I do. I don't know if it makes a difference or not, to be honest with you. So when you're brewing coffee, you're going to put in hot water, and yes, this is tempered glass, so they will maintain. You don't want to put boiling water in there, so if you boil the water, wait till it stops bubbling and then pour it in here, you'll be fine. You can put warm water in there to temper it. I haven't had to do that, but some companies I think suggest to put warm water, dump that out, and then put your hot water in there. As long as it's not bubbling when you pour it, you should be fine. They do recommend you use a plastic spoon in there, no glass, no metal, just in case something breaks or chips or something like that off in there in the hot water. So typically what I do, and I know there's like coffee aficionados out there that are like correcting me as I go along. I'm just telling you what I do. I'm not a professional coffee. I just enjoy coffee. I love coffee. So I put it in there usually about 3 to 5 minutes, depending on how strong you want it, maybe longer, but I think the recommendation is like 3 to 5 minutes. And then once that time has passed, then you just slowly press down the plunger, and then it goes down to there. It doesn't go all the way to the bottom because it has to leave a gap for the coffee grounds themselves. And then you basically just pour your coffee. So that's a French press. That's one method. They have pour overs, which is kind of like a cone thing with a beaker thing, and you put the filter thing in there, and then you measure out the water on. And you've seen people like with a scale, and they measure the water and so many grams of water and ounces of water and grams of coffee and all that, and they really get down to like an exact science. Like, it's very, very precise. I was reading something earlier on one of the recommendations from Geva, one of the methods of brewing this one coffee, and it literally is like seconds, 30 seconds, and then do this after 1 minute and then another minute, and basically by the time you're done it's like 3 to 5 minutes. But you go through this whole process, and it's very specific. There's an exact like science to it, and that's really cool. And I appreciate, and I kind of enjoy seeing somebody go that far into making coffee. Do I do that? I don't. I'm not like a coffee geek, but I find it very interesting that they go to that extent to create this, perfect cup of coffee, if you will. So the pour overs, like I said, you do that. I also have an infuser. I don't have it in front of me here, but it's basically like a glass vase with a handle, and then it's got a tube that goes down in there with a little like seal at the top, and it's like a mesh, a very fine mesh like screen tube, and the coffee goes down inside of there, and then the water's all around it inside of the canister, the glass beaker, if you will. And you can put it in there, and I usually use that for my cold brew, which I'm actually making right now, which is why I don't have it in front of me to show you guys. But you can go on to like Amazon and you can search for coffee brewers, and you can look at all these different ones, and you can probably find some other YouTube videos out there on how to make the perfect cup of coffee or different methods of brewing coffee. I also have an espresso machine. I have a burr grinder, electric burr grinder. If you really get into it, I do recommend, maybe getting a little at-home espresso machine. Those are really nice. They do have the steamers. I also have a frother. If you Google battery-operated frother for coffee, those are really cool for cream, or heavy whipping cream, or half and half, or steamed milk, or not steamed milk, because then it would be hard to be froth. But it's like got a little whisk wheel on it and a little metal like stem sort of, and then you press the button and it just spins around and it froths the half and half or the heavy cream. I usually use heavy cream, and that's kind of nice. It kind of builds the body up a little bit, froths it up, makes it a little bit creamier with your coffee once you mix everything together. So those are some other things that you can get, and you can find all kinds of goodies. The burr grinder, by the way, is a type of grinder that grinds it more, I guess, evenly than, say, like a spice grinder or food processor, which just has a blade. So this actually has like a conical insert that's metal, so the actual coffee beans go down in there and it grinds it. It's more uniform, so the extraction, from what I understand, I may not be 100% on this, so correct me if you want to. I'd love to hear if I'm wrong on this, but basically it just grinds it more uniform, so the extraction process when it's brewing is more uniform, and it I guess brings out more flavor, if you will. So that kind of makes sense to me. So I do have a burr grinder, I do have an espresso machine, I do have a drip coffee maker, and then the frother, which is fun to use as well. So my 40-cent coffee, so what I do is I will take usually either my French press or automatic drip. If I'm doing morning coffee, I usually like hot. Sometimes I'll do hot and then pour it over ice and do iced coffee. I do have some right here that is actually cold brew in my Geva mug. I love this thing. It's the perfect afternoon size tumbler. It's not like one of the big ones, because like in the morning I have a big tumbler. This is like my afternoon to 3 o'clock, when you're doing the slow burn at work and you need a little pick-me-up. This is like the perfect size without going over. For me personally, where if I drink too much caffeine too late in the day, this video would probably go on for 3 hours. So you're welcome. I'm not drinking all this right now, but this is really cool. I don't know why I'm telling you guys so much about it, but I like it. So so my 40-cent coffee, back to that. Appreciate you guys staying tuned this long. Make the coffee, do the French press, hot, cold, iced, either way, whatever your preference is, depending on the time of year and everything like that. And I like to use, and this took me a while, so I use the sugar-free syrups. So I also use Splenda Stevia, which is an artificial sweetener instead of sugar. I prefer that personally. You can use sugar if you do honey or whatever other sweeteners you like to use, or none. I mean, that's totally up to you, but what I do is I'll take my big tumbler, standard size tumbler, and I'll put in like 2 to 3 spoons of this Splenda Stevia, which is the closest thing to sugar that I found. Took me about a week to get used to it. Flavor wise, it wasn't that appealing at first. It was palatable, but after about a week of using it, now it's like normal to me. It tastes fine. It tastes good. I don't miss sugar at all. So if you guys are looking to change from sugar to something maybe a little healthier, I do recommend that one from the ones that I've tried as far as stevia brand products, different products. So to do that, I usually put in like 1 teaspoon of the sugar-free syrup. If you're not worried about the sugar-free, you can use the regular syrups. Like I said, they got a whole assortment of different flavors on the website you can check out. So I usually use about 2 to 3 of the stevia, 1 of the syrup, and then if I do the ice, I do the ice. And then I prefer personally heavy whipping cream. I think is really nice. It gives a good flavor. I also will use half and half, so if you have a preference of half and half, you can do that. And I usually put, this might be excessive for some of you guys, but it's, like I said, it's a standard size tumbler. I don't know, it's probably like 12 ounces roughly. But I'll put in like 1/3 of a cup to 1/4 of a cup of cream in that. And if you're not into that, there are some, I actually bought some other products, and I'm not going to go into them, but they're non-dairy type products. One is nut pods, and there's some other ones that are like nut-based milks, you know, like almond milks, stuff like that, that you can check out and experiment. It doesn't give you quite the creaminess, but some of them aren't bad, and they're probably a little bit healthier if you're trying to do the non-dairy or vegan or something like that. And then the last thing that I like to put in my coffee, just because, I don't know, I think it's good for me, is MCT oil. So if you're doing, I think that's what they call bullet coffee, but I'll add in like a tablespoon of MCT oil in my coffee as well. And it's kind of oily, so I kind of stir that in. But overall, with all that in there, it's probably around 40 cents a cup that I'm paying versus $5. So if you're doing that, you know, once or twice a day, and you're saving, you know, about $4 or $5 a day on coffee, you know, that's $10 a day. That's, you know, it starts adding up. So if you guys want to save some money, but at the same time get quality products, you'll enjoy it even more because you're saving money and you're affording yourself the quality product that you should be buying, and not the cheapest generic stuff because you want to go out and buy expensive coffees. Don't get me wrong, I still enjoy that cup of coffee out there. But you guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Hope you hit the like, subscribe, notification bell, share the video if you want, comment below. Let me know if you want to see a video of the tour of Geva, of their factory and the roasters and everything. I think that'd be cool to do. If you want to see a video on teas, I'll check into that and see what all the teas are that they offer, and I'll make a video on that as well. I appreciate you guys watching. My name is Kerry Stessel. This is the Foodie Club channel, and we will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.